Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another high-energy session of Leo and Emma English. I'm Leo, and as always, I am pumped to be here.
Hello, hello. I'm Emma. We are so glad you're here today. We are covering a topic that, let's be honest, makes even native speakers' hearts race and palms sweat.
Oh, for sure. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine yesterday who was applying for a senior tech role. Guy's a genius, right? But he told me he literally couldn't sleep because he was dreading the interview. And we're talking specifically about that terrifying moment right at the beginning when the recruiter leans back, looks at you, and says those 4 words, "Tell me about yourself."
It sounds like such a friendly opening, doesn't it? It's deceptive. It feels like they just want to get to know you as a human, but it's actually a trap. A lot of B2 level students make the mistake of sharing their whole life story, where they were born, how many cats they have, and what they like to do on weekends.
Exactly. I call that the biography trap. You know, I was born in a small town, I like pasta, and I have a dog named Sparky. No, stop right there. The recruiter doesn't want your biography. They want your elevator pitch. They are trying to figure out if you fit the puzzle of their company.
Right. There is actually some fascinating research on this. Studies on the primacy effect in psychology suggest that we place disproportionate weight on the first piece of information we receive. Recruitment data often shows that hiring managers form a tentative opinion within the first 90 seconds of the conversation. That means this answer isn't just an icebreaker. It's the anchor for the entire interview.
90 seconds? That is wild. So if you spend the first 60 seconds talking about your childhood or your hobby of collecting stamps, you've basically wasted your prime real estate.
Precisely. Today, we're spending our time nailing this answer. We're going to give you a specific formula that will make you sound professional, organized, and perfectly qualified for the job.
Let's get into the mechanics. If you want to sound like a C1 leader while you're still at a B2 level, you need a structure. Our favorite is the present, past, future formula.
This is the gold standard. It keeps you linear and logical. You start with the present. What are you doing right now? What is your current role or latest achievement? Then, the past. How did you get here? What are the 2 or 3 key experiences that make you a pro? And finally, the future. Why are you here today? How does this job fit into your goals?
Let's break it down, because I think people get stuck on the present. They just say their job title. Emma, give us a present starter that actually sounds impressive.
Sure. A rookie mistake is saying, I am a manager. It's factual, but it's flat. Instead, try this. Currently, I am working as a marketing manager at company, where I oversee a team of 5 and handle our digital strategy across 3 regions. It sounds much more dynamic because you are defining the scope of your work immediately.
I love that word, scope. It tells them how big your responsibility is. Now, moving to the past. This is where I think people tend to ramble. They start listing every job they've had since they were 16 working at a coffee shop.
Oh, absolutely. You need to curate your history. Think of it like a movie trailer. You only show the best parts that are relevant to this movie. If you are applying for a finance job, you don't need to talk about your summer job as a lifeguard, unless you learned a specific leadership skill there that applies.
So it's about relevance. This brings us to something that I think separates the intermediate speakers from the advanced ones. We call it connective tissue.
This is the B2 secret. Connective tissue consists of the transition words that make your story flow. If you just list facts, I worked here, then I worked there, then I moved here, you sound robotic.
You sound like you're reading a grocery list. We want a narrative. So what are some of these magic phrases?
To transition from your current role back to your history, use phrases like prior to this or before taking on this role. But if you want to show passion and intent, try what led me to this field originally was...
That's good. What led me to this field? It implies you have a motivation, a drive. It wasn't an accident.
Exactly. And when you want to show growth between jobs, use building on that experience or with that foundation in place, I moved on to. These words are the glue of your interview. They show the recruiter that you have a logical, structured mind that understands cause and effect.
It implies a career trajectory rather than just a series of random jobs. Now, let's talk vocabulary, because if I hear the word did one more time, I might scream. I did the project. I did the report.
We need to banish did from the interview room. At the B2 level, you need to stop using weak verbs like did, had, or made. You need action verbs, or what we call success vocabulary.
Give us the upgrades. Instead of I did a project, what are we saying?
I spearheaded a project, or I implemented a new system. Spearheaded implies leadership and initiative. Implemented implies you took an idea and made it a reality.
Those are strong. What about when you made something better, like you fixed a mess?
2 words, streamlined and enhanced. Streamlined is fantastic. It means you made a process faster, cheaper, or easier. If you say, I streamlined our reporting process, you sound like someone who saves the company money. That is music to a hiring manager's ears.
And coordinated is another good one, right? Especially if you work with people.
Yes. Coordinated shows organizational skills and teamwork. And don't forget delivered. Instead of I finished the sales goals, say I delivered a 20% increase in sales. It sounds final and authoritative.
Okay, so we have the present, we have the past with good transitions and power verbs. Now, the future. This is where you land the plane. How do we handle the why?
The most important part of the tell me about yourself answer is the ending. You have to connect your past to their future. You can't just trail off and say, and yeah, that's me.
The awkward trailing off. So, yeah. Terrible.
Avoid that at all costs. Instead, use the phrase, that's why I'm so excited about this role because, and then link your skills to their needs. For example, I've spent 5 years in marketing, and now I'm looking to apply those skills in a fast-paced startup environment like yours.
That shows focus. It shows you aren't just looking for any job. You're looking for this job. It flatters them a little bit too.
It does. And there is a cultural aspect here we should touch on. I work with a lot of students from cultures where modesty is a core value. In parts of Asia or even Scandinavia, talking about yourself this confidently can feel arrogant or rude.
That's a huge point. In the US or the UK, the interview culture is different. If you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else will. It's not seen as bragging, it's seen as providing evidence.
Exactly. Think of it as data reporting. You aren't saying, I am the best person in the world. You are saying, these are the facts of what I achieved. If you streamlined a process, that is a fact, not a boast. Reframing it that way helps a lot of my students overcome that hesitation.
That's a great mindset shift. Let's make this practical. I want to do a comparison. We'll call this the robot versus pro challenge. I'll be the robot B2 speaker, the guy who has the grammar right but the vibe wrong. And Emma, you be the pro candidate.
All right, let's hear it. Robot Leo.
Okay, here goes. I'm Leo. I've been an accountant for 5 years. I worked at XYZ Bank. I like numbers. I want this job because I need a change.
Oh, Leo, I'm sorry, but I'm not hiring you. It was grammatically correct, but there was no story, no passion, and no connection to the company. It was just data points floating in space.
Brutal. Okay, show us how it's done. Give us the pro version.
Well, currently I'm a senior accountant at XYZ Bank, where I manage a portfolio of over 50 clients. Prior to this, I spent 3 years developing my skills in auditing, which is what led me to discover my passion for financial strategy. Building on that, I've recently helped my team reduce costs by 15%. That's why I'm so excited to be here today. I'm ready to take that experience and help a growing firm like yours streamline its operations.
Hire her right now. See the difference? Same facts. Accountant XYZ Bank likes numbers, but the language makes Emma sound like a high-level expert.
Notice the structure? Currently, I manage, then prior to this, then building on that, and finally, that's why I'm excited. It guides the listener's ear.
And you slipped in that 15% statistic. That's another pro tip. Quantify your results whenever you can. Numbers translate into any language.
They really do, but Leo, we have to talk about something else. We've covered the script, but what about the delivery? Even if your English is perfect, your vibe matters. We need to talk about fillers and body language.
Oh, the dreaded ums and ahs. I went to university. It kills your credibility.
It signals uncertainty, and in an interview, certainty is currency. But we are human. We need time to think, especially in a second language. So instead of saying, use a thinking buffer.
A thinking buffer. I like that. Give me an example.
If they ask you a tough question, or even if you just lose your place in your intro, take a breath and say, "That's a great question," or "Let me think about the best way to put that," or simply pause. A clear pause is powerful. It shows confidence.
Silence is better than That's hard to learn, but it's true. It gives your brain time to catch up with your mouth without breaking the professional atmosphere.
Also, watch your intonation. This is huge for English learners. Many people use upspeak, where their voice goes up at the end of a sentence, like this.
Yeah, it makes everything sound like a question. I am a manager, and I am good at my job. It sounds like you're asking for permission.
Exactly. You want a downward inflection. I am a manager. I delivered results. Imagine a period at the end of your sentence, not a question mark. It commands respect.
I want to throw a curveball at you, Emma. What about the people listening who have a gap in their resume? Maybe they took a year off, or they were looking for work. How does that fit into the present, past, future formula without sounding awkward?
That is a very common concern. The key is to own the narrative. Don't hide it. In the past section, you can use a phrase like, "I took a deliberate career break to focus on X, and during that time, I..."
So you make it active. You didn't just not work, you focused on professional development or traveled to broaden your cultural perspective.
Precisely. Even if you were just looking for a job, you can say, "I've spent the last 6 months upskilling in English and project management to ensure I'm ready for a senior role." You turn the gap into a period of preparation. You control the frame.
I love that. Upskilling. That's another power verb right there. Okay, we've been talking for about 20 minutes, and we've covered a lot. Basically, the tell me about yourself question is your chance to set the tone for the whole interview.
I'm convinced that if you follow the present, past, future structure and use at least 3 action verbs, you will stand out from 90% of the other candidates. Most people just wing it, and it shows.
It's all about this story arc. You are the protagonist of the movie. Make them the heroes of your future. You need them to see that hiring you is the logical next step in the plot.
So, here is your homework for this week. I want you to write out your present, past, future pitch. Don't just think about it. Write it down. Then, read it out loud and record yourself on your phone.
Recording is painful, I know. Nobody likes the sound of their own voice, but you have to do it. Listen for the ums, listen for the upspeak, and check if you are using those weak verbs.
And tell us your favorite power verb in the comments. Did you spearhead something? Did you orchestrate a new initiative? We want to know.
We'll be in the comments giving feedback on your pitches. This is the first step to your new career, folks. Don't let a simple question trip you up.
Thanks for joining us at Leo and Emma. You've got this. Practice makes permanent.
Go nail that interview. Peace out.